Well, good day, family. This is the Talented 10th. Financial Coach Jay coming at you with some more content on building wealth. Building wealth for yourself and as far as your family's future. Building wealth. Once again, we want to put on our mask first before we help anybody else out. If we're out there flapping, we can't even help ourselves, we can't help anyone else. So let's go ahead and put on our mask first, family. I am just so excited that you tuned in with us on this day. And I trust that you will go back and check out some of the other content because we've been talking about this wonderful wealth building tool called the Roth IRA. The Roth IRA is a powerful tool because you pay taxes going in while your income is low, and then when you go to pull out those millions of dollars, you'll never be taxed on that money again if you follow the proper rules. And we've talked about all of those rules in previous sessions that we had together. When we're talking about the drawdown strategy and it being tax free, compound, and all of that is free once you go to pull it out, meaning you've already paid the taxes on it. And the beautiful thing is, if you're making $25 an hour and you're slamming money in there, you're maxing it out for the year of 2024. The max that you can put in there is $7,000, and you just consistently do that over time. You're getting taxed on all your money. But the money, once it builds up and it grows and grows and compounds, because all the compound growth and everything, once you go to withdraw from that Roth IRA at the proper age of, generally speaking, of 79 and a half, all of that money is tax-free that is built up to the compound growth, the dividends, all of that. This is a wonderful tool, another avenue in building wealth. This is not the only avenue in building wealth, but this is a significant avenue, and we've been talking about it. We've been diving into it, and we know that Senator Roth, he introduced this in 1997 in Congress. They legislated it, and it passed, and it's a wonderful vehicle to use. In the last session, we kind of broke that thing down where, a person basically making minimum wage, and say it was a married couple, and they just tuned in on doing 25% of their income, of their $50,000 annual combined salary, and they did 25% of that for 15 years, and then they backed off, and then they just let it compound for the next 25, 30, 32 years, whatever. And we saw those numbers, millions of dollars that it amassed to. Because all that compound growth, and we were doing it off of 10% compound growth, 10% annually. And that's pretty much and we talked about using the index funds with low fees. So all those things factor into your wealth building, and it's really not complicated. The funny thing about it is, yes, you need a surgeon that's been through schooling. But the thing about finances is, you got some information, just do it. Just do it. Just do it. All right, so we want to dive into this tool called the 401k. The 401k is a section in the IR code, Internal Revenue Code, and it's designed to give you specific instructions on deferred benefits plans for employers for employees. Back in the day, prior to I believe it was 78, people will work on a job for 30 years. And once they retire, they'll get a pension that the company has set up for them, and they would, probably start drawing their Social Security at the age of 72 at the earliest, and then up to the full retirement age, whatever it was at the time. I think it was around 60, 65. Now it's 67, pretty much, for my age frame. And then the max is 70. So you had those two things, and if you had any type of savings, not a lot of people did a lot of investing. It was very complicated. Then you had loaded funds or no load funds and low load funds and all the different complication that went with that, and that's why a lot of people had these different financial advisors, and they're getting 1, 2, and 3% of your money. You know your money's really not building. So there were three avenues. You got the pension. That was, if you stayed on the job for 30, 40, 50 years, you got the gold watch. We're going to put that aside. And then you got Social Security, and then whatever you had invested. So companies got really smart, and it was really a trial that one of the companies stepped out and said, hey, we want to do this and do something different. And it was introduced. And once again, in 1978, Congress enacted this 401k. Once again, it's inside of the Internal Revenue Code. And it started basically in the 80s, it started picking up steam because companies are like, hey, we don't have to have this money set aside. We're going to allow the people to invest in themselves. So they said, okay, most companies, they said, okay, well, we're going to match the employer. The employer is going to match the employee up to a certain percentage. So say, for instance, you put in $7,000 and they'll put in $7,000. But basically it's a percentage. Like you put in 3%, they'll match you 3%. Maybe you'll put in 4 or 5%, and then above the 3% a match that you put in, they'll say, okay, if you go above that, we'll put in 50 cents per dollar, basically. So if you put in 5%, they're going to put in 4%. That's free money. People say, oh, well, that's not free. Well, yeah, the company match is under right now, and the laws just changed, and we'll get into that, but it's been under the traditional. But now you can go Roth 401k, where your contributions are coming Roth, meaning you're paying taxes on it now, just like with the Roth IRA, you're paying taxes on it now. For later, you won't have to pay money on the growth of that, what you've been putting in. Now, under the company match, you'll have to, once you withdraw money out, you'll start paying taxes on that. But now they got it where you can do Roth for the contributions that you make, as well as the company match. You can pay taxes on that now as well. 3, 4, 5, 10%, whatever their matching contribution percentage is. You can choose to do that now. That started this year in 2024 under the Secure Act 2.0 of 2022, when President Biden signed it into law on the 30th of December 2022. So it went into effect this year, but you got to go and ask your administrator of your 401k plan and your company if they're allowed, first of all, the Roth. Most of them have the traditional by now, just the regular 401k. That's where you get a tax break. So let's look at this. Say you put in $10,000 for that year. Say your salary is $50,000. You're not paying taxes on $50,000 under the traditional. You're paying taxes on $40,000 because that $10,000 that you put in under the traditional 401k, all of that is tax deductible. It's tax deductible, but you'll pay money once you go to withdraw the money out. You'll start paying taxes on that. So either you can do the Roth 401k where you're paying taxes on the money now because you're trusting that you'll be in a lower tax bracket later, and that I'm sorry. Let's reverse that. If you do the Roth, you're thinking that you're going to be in a higher tax bracket later. So when you pull that money out, you don't have to pay taxes on all that growth on that money. But if you're doing traditional, you're getting a tax break now because you believe you'll be in a lower tax bracket later when you start pulling money out or whatever income you have coming in. So it's a strategy. Either way, you're going to pay taxes. Either you're going to pay them now or later. It almost don't matter. But psychologically, it's just something about, I don't know what the income tax rates are going to be down the road. They may be much higher. They may be lower. We don't know. So if you want to just say, take all the guessing out of it and say, well, I'm going to pay the taxes on it because of the tax brackets, what they are now, I'm going to go ahead and do Roth. That way I know when I pull it out, I'll never pay taxes on that Roth portion later. So that's the beauty of setting your mind, okay? So before you dive into your 401k, you say, you know what? I just graduated college. I'm starting this new job. I have student loan to pay back. And I'm going to give you this game changer, and we probably won't be able to get anywhere from here. So, Congress, once again, under the Secure Act 2.0 of 2022, guess what Congress did? They said, you know, we want to help out the folks with student loan debt. And we know these people are starting these jobs, and they may have student loan, you know, $50,000, $60,000 or more. And we know that they cannot invest in their 401k because they're strapped with this student loan debt. I'm going to tell you what Congress did. It was a beautiful thing. And I don't know if a lot of people are talking about this, but they're allowed employers to do a matching for that employer, for the employee. The employee can get a match for whatever they're paying back on their student loan. Say it's $1,000 a month. Congress has allowed the employer to go ahead and do a matching of what the employee is paying back in repayment to a qualified student loan payment. So I say, okay, that's great for me. This is an incentive to be on that job. Now you got to go and ask your employer, do you offer this match? I'm going to give it to you. You go to the document of Secure Act 2.0 of 2022, section 110, the section is called the treatment of student loan payments as electives, deferrals for purposes of matching contribution. It's all right here. Section 110 out of the Secure 2.0 Act of 2022. So you really don't have an excuse now to say, well, I can't contribute to my 401k, but you can if your employer allows that, and you show them, you have documentation, I'm paying $1,000 a month because I want to pay this student loan off in, 4 or 5 years. You're trying to, pay it because that interest rate is tearing you up. Whatever it is, it's tearing you up. It's not working on your behalf. But check this out. You're putting $12,000 a year on your student loan. Your employer say, yeah, you're a value partner in this business. I'm going to match under this section 110 of the Secure 2.0 Act of 2022. I'm going to go ahead and put $12,000 on your behalf under a 401k plan. You're paying off your student loan at the same time the company is paying for your future. $12,000 a year for and you continue that payment. Maybe the payment is less. Whatever it is, that payment is, they can match if that employer will do that. They're allowed under Congress. This hasn't happened before. This hasn't happened. You can eliminate your student loan by you actively paying it off consistently, and your employer is actively investing into you for your financial future. Come on now. We're going to do the math on it pretty soon. We're going to assume in our next videos coming up, because I want to only stop these at 15, because I want you to 15 minutes, because I want you to go back and I want you to go and prove what I'm saying is correct. And then go and ask your employer, do they offer this in the company that you're working for? We got to do this, family. I think we can do this. I know we can do this. This is easy, and this is a way we can build wealth for our future generations. So we're going to talk about in our next sessions before we go into just you operating in your 401k yourself. So let's be about this. Go and do your research. Once again, it's the section 110 in the Secure Act 2.0 of 2022. I want you to go and check it out. Before you do anything, before you just dive in and start investing in your 401k plan, let's try to dig out as much as we can that's going to work in our benefit. We got two things going. Student loan getting paid off, and the company is taking care of your future because they believe in you. You're a value partner in that business. And that's how you got to look at it. You're a partner. You're just not employed by them. You're a partner in that business. All right, family. Love you. Talk to you later.